Hello and welcome. This is Bhuvan Unhelkar, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this particular chat on project management and business analysis. As always, I want you to relax, so have a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of water as I am having, and let's share a few thoughts on this interesting new module on project management and business analysis. So, what are we really talking today? We are trying to position business analysis in its relationship with project management. Now, there was a time, and perhaps even today, people might consider business analysis as a stepping stone to project management. Not true. And that does not in any way discount the importance of project management. But what I am saying is business analysis as that high level needs exploration is in the business space. It deals with a much broader range of ambiguity, uncertainty, amorphous nature of business that is at a much more abstract, higher, not as in a value judgment, but higher as in early stages of work that happens in an organization. So, when we say business analysis and when we explore its relationship with project management, it is in two stages, in two parts. The early business analysis is that mind mapping and questioning and exploration and modeling of the needs of the business that would eventually lead to a project. So, business analysis will decide whether a project should be there at all or not. And once a project is decided, then it is the requirements modeling and quality assurance aspect of business analysis that comes into play. So, in a way, business analysis sandwiches project management in it, and therefore it will be quite acceptable, quite realistic to have project managers reporting to a master business analyst, because that master business analyst, that consulting BA, is deciding whether a project should happen or not. So this is the interesting phase that we are moving into. We as an industry, as an IT industry, is moving into, and you and I are a part of that journey, if you like. You will also find that the keyword agile is coming into play quite a bit. We looked at user stories, we looked at some agile mechanisms of documenting requirements. We find that in project management also agility plays an important role, and therefore we have what is called agile project management. Jim Highsmith has done a lot of work in agile project management, and we will chat a little bit about what he means by agile PM and how it relates to the work that we are trying to do. but certainly it is of a lot of interest when we discuss business analysis. So we will have a look at that as well, and eventually we will look at the standards in project management and see how business analysis fits into those standards. Now, as I mentioned to you, business analysis at a high abstract level is actually exploring the needs of business. In addition to mind maps and art of questioning, we also discussed pestle analysis, we discussed SWOT analysis. These are all analyses that are focused on the pure business space, and they eventually translate into one or more projects. And then project management kicks in. So, project management is the discipline that deals with taking input from business analysis at a high or abstract or business level, convert that into precise, measurable tasks and outcomes. So, in a way, project management is less interested in the values that the business derives and more interested in accomplishing the outcomes. Therefore, to me, having a business case, a cost benefit analysis, a discussion weighing the pros and cons of a project cannot be a part of project management. If you look at most project management methodologies, if you look at PMBOK, project management body of knowledge, or if you look at Prince 2, and we will briefly chat about both these methods, they include a certain amount of business decision making, business case, which is, in my opinion, not correctly positioned. Ideally, you should not have a project if the cost benefit analysis and the risks are such that the business will not benefit by having a project. So, the decision whether a project should occur or not is actually a business analysis decision making process and not a project management decision making process, and therefore it should be outside of a project management methodology. That's my view. It doesn't happen like that today, but we will see how we can make it happen, how we can argue why business analysis should come first, then project management, and then once we have a project scope defined, we can then move into modeling of requirements. And you are aware of all those various functional requirements through use cases or user stories or activity graphs or BPMN diagrams. Non-functional requirements that are descriptive but that contain lots of numbers and that describe performance and scalability and volume and security. And user experience requirement, which include interface requirements, navigability, mode of communication between the user and the system, the ability of the system to grow with growth of user. All those bits that deal with modeling of requirements, documenting of requirements, are all within a project. And we have studied both so far. So that's how business analysis relates to project management. Now, if we look at those two standards that I mentioned, first of the two is PMBOK, Project Management Book Body of Knowledge, and it contains the 5 process groups, and I look at them as a collection of processes or activities that deal with initiating a project. And this is where a lot of early business analysis can take place if we have business analysis at a high level happening within a project, because that's exactly where you can take a go no go decision. And to me, a decision as to whether a project should happen or should not happen is actually a business analysis decision making process and outcome, more than a project management outcome. Once we have initiated a project, there are a series of activities or processes that deal with planning the project. And this is where you bring in resources, people, the roles that they fulfill, the deliverables or the outcomes, not the values. In fact, more focused on the output. What is it that we are going to produce? Is it a piece of code? Is it a model? Is it a combination of two? Is it a package that we are going to implement? And the steps that we will take to do the implementation. So in the planning group within PMBOK, the processes are all dealing with the roles and the responsibilities and the resources in terms of hardware, environment, activities and tasks, and outputs, deliverables. Execution is the third group within PMBOK, and these groups of processes actually enact. The enactment of the planning takes place when we are executing. And as execution progresses, phase by phase, task by task, deliverable by deliverable, we need to monitor, control, report, track the actual project. And it's a dynamic thing. That's where some of the analytical abilities come into play. So business analysis can interface with project management during the monitoring of the execution. Because the moment you find in a 1 year project, you find you're running late in the third month, you don't only compensate for the third month in the project, but you compensate and make that extrapolation to the rest of the project. So if I'm delayed by a month at the end of the third month of a 1 year project, that project will not finish in 1 year and 1 month. It will actually finish in 1 year and 5 months or 6 months, because of the ongoing percolating effect of the initial delay. And that's where a project manager could be using analytical abilities to deal with uncertainty, ability to deal with these fuzzy extrapolations that can help him or her do a much better project management. And as with everything else in life, when we complete a project, we pick up some lessons. We learned a few things from the project, and that is the fifth group in PMBOK. Intersecting with that fifth group, or those 5 groups in PMBOK, are 9 knowledge areas. So they are integration management, managing the scope of the project, managing the time, managing quality, managing cost, managing people, enabling communication, managing risk, and of course procurement. And you may not use all of them, but there is a intersection, a matrix between these 9 knowledge areas and the 5 groups of processes that I mentioned. So each process would belong to a knowledge area and to a process group. And that's how project management body of knowledge, PMBOK, operates. And you can see there is tremendous opportunity for business analysis to play a role in each of these processes, in each of these areas. But always keeping in mind that the business analysis that we are talking about is in two major parts. One that comes before a project, which is the decision making process of whether a project should happen or not, and the other is within the project where we are doing requirements modeling. So it forms an interesting matrix, and you will come across it, and you should be aware of what we have discussed in terms of PMBOK. Another standard, another framework of project management, which is also very popular, especially in government areas, and that is projects in controlled environments. PRINCE, projects in controlled environment. So that is Prince, and the current version of Prince is Prince 2, the newer version, um, around 2009, 2008, 2009. Um, but the basic structure of Prince 2 is similar. Um, it has got its 40 or so activities and tasks, and these are grouped into process groups, or phases, if you like. And the way Prince 2 organizes these phases could be sequential, but we have to take care to make sure that there are proper iterations, proper links, and repetitions. And so these phases are um, starting up of a project, where there is a decision making happening, which is a business analysis kind of decision making. Then there is initiation of a project, where we are putting resources together. Then there is the starting and the controlling of a project, that is monitoring. We manage the phases and the stages of a project. There is also the delivery of the project. So planning is influencing all these: initiation, controlling, managing, and delivering of a project. And then there is, of course, project direction, and finally closing of a project. So you will find with both PMBOK and with Prince 2 that they are really focused on a particular specific project. And wherever you find that there is a decision to be taken in terms of whether we should go ahead with a project or not, whether the project should be buy, will result in the buying of a piece of software, or building the software in-house, or a combination of two, those are analytical decision making activities that are embedded in project management. Now let's have a look at agile project management. Agile project management will include planning and execution, but it will be a lot more dynamic, and it will accept a lot more feedback. Because if you remember, one of the principles, in fact derived from the Agile Manifesto, is that there is importance given to changes, importance given to feedback, importance given to collaboration, rather than controlling and planning within a project. My opinion, of course, is both are needed. Both control and planning, and dynamicity and flexibility need to be given equal importance, not one over the other. But that's my personal and my practical view. So in terms of agile planning, they need to be incremental. So you need to incorporate, embed the ability of the plans to incrementally deliver. They should be measurable, they should be iterative, that is repeating within themselves. So incremental is when they are adding more outputs, whereas iterative is when the activities are repeated within themselves. They have to be collaborative, and they have to be all the time focused on what is the business value. So you will find agile project management a domain in itself. And again, business analysis has to play an integral part in agile project management. Um, the key principles of agile project management per se, which is Jim Highsmith's work. So if you treat agile project management as a proper noun, then the characteristics are continuous innovation. So you are always focusing on new products, new ways of delivering products. You are continuously innovating. It's a continuous feedback loop. Adaptability of product. So the product should be delivered or designed and architected and delivered in such a way that it will not only handle the current requirements but also the future requirements from the customer. That means there should be phenomenal opportunities for configuration of a product rather than customization. So there should be less code cutting in future, but more setting of parameters that will help the product to be configured. Um, there should be quick delivery, so you cannot wait for months together before delivering a release. As far as possible, we follow a scrum like, and scrum is one of those agile methods, very popular methods, where the delivery is um, almost on a weekly basis, or at the most 4 weeks, that is 30 days max. Um Adaptability of people and adaptability of processes. So expect things to change, expect people to change and to modify their work to suit the dynamics of the project. And then of course, produce high quality product. That means there should be a reliability of the product. And that is how agile project management supports business. There are a few agile manifesto variations, if you like, in agile project management. Delivering value is more important in APM than meeting the constraints of a project. Leading the team, energizing them, facilitating their work is more important than managing the task that the team is doing and tracking and reporting. And then adapting to change rather than conforming to plans. In my opinion, again, all these values of one over the other are much better expressed in practice as equal values. So you will need to meet constraints, you will need to manage tasks, you will need to conform to plans as well in practice. So you need to balance the two. So that's in terms of agile project management. There are questions that we can ask for a project. What is the purpose of the team? What is the purpose of the project itself? What is it that we intend to build? Who are we building this for? Why are we building it? Who will be the user? How are we all going to collaborate? How are we all going to work together to produce that particular result? So if you bring back your already learned knowledge in terms of art of questioning, in terms of the Ishikawa diagrams, you can apply it a little bit in agile project management. My personal opinion, any project management, whether it is agile or whether it is traditional, should in a way be the last major activity or major phase coming out of business analysis, pure business analysis work. So in times to come, it will not be uncommon for a business analyst sitting on the board of directors, bringing in his or her analytical skills, all those exploratory skills, all those competencies to deal with ambiguity on the table, and deciding that yes, we will buy a particular piece of software, a particular package, or we will configure it, or we will build a solution in house, or we will collaborate with another partner to build a solution that is customized to our requirements, and then a project or two or three kick in. You have come across the term program or program management, and there is a role called a program director. To me, a program is an ongoing suite of projects which include change management. And you will, in project management that interfaces with business analysis, you are going to deal with change. So, project management, which in my opinion has done a great job in industries such as construction, where ground floor is always built before the first floor is built. Look at a project home, and every small nail or screw or tile or door handle is a part of a mega project plan. And once the project plan is set, the house gets built in less than 6 months. Not so with software, not so with dynamic business and its decision making processes, where you will occasionally find that the roof or the terrace is built first and the ground floor is built later, because software and business don't seem to follow the construction paradigm. Having said that, project management has come from well trodden paths of building industry, construction industry, manufacturing industry, auto industry, and so on, where the work is quite sequential. So as you practice this art of business analysis, competencies of business analysis along with project management, you will have to keep both the precision of project management and the ambiguity of business analysis in mind. And one is not important over the other. The sequencing of these competencies or their practices is important. And again, I am saying that business analysis at the highest level comes first, followed by a program of work which is going to change, which is going to transform your business, which is made up of one or many projects. Projects will have a starting point and the end point, will have fixed outcomes, deliverables, and the quality of the deliverable will decide on the quality of the project. But the value that comes from the project is back to business analysis. Similarly, requirements modeling of various types is within business analysis because it does require analytical skills. So you find that what we had as a planned approach, initiate a project, plan a project, execute it, control it, and close it. Those five groups that I mentioned in PMBOK somehow map, not on a one-on-one basis, but still somehow map to envisioning a project, which is when initiation takes place, very much a business analysis activity. Planning a project where you have to speculate a little bit, you have to estimate a little bit, again you bring in some analytical skills. When you are executing the project in traditional project management, you are actually doing the exploration in agile project management, and there you can bring in your requirements modeling skills. Controlling a project versus or map to adaptation of a project. So in controlling a project in a traditional project management, you try and put the activities and tasks to fit within the plan. In an agile approach, you change the plan if you can to suit the reality on the ground, and then of course you learn the lessons in both cases. So that's what I had planned to chat with you on project management and business analysis. So I hope this chat, almost half an hour, has been of value to you and has explained to you what I mean when I say interface between project management and business analysis. You have, of course, studied project management elsewhere, or if not, you can study. There are dedicated courses and dedicated training available in project management. In fact, project management is far more mature than business analysis at this stage, and is a profession in its own right. But that's what we are trying to make business analysis, and that's why this effort on seeing the interfaces between the two. So I hope this has been of value, and I'm back to my glass of water, and I hope you have been sipping your cup of tea or coffee, or a glass of red wine or beer, or whatever you enjoy, or milk or water. So take care and see you in the seminar. Bye bye.